Urgent. You make a conscious choice. You plant your foot and launch into a sudden sprint. Inside, the physical consequences are immediate. Your energy demand spikes, your heart rate climbs, and your breathing quickens to pull in more oxygen. A moment ago, you were in a state of homeostasis, the body's natural resting balance. This sudden exertion completely disrupts that baseline. Without an instantaneous mechanism to coordinate these changing variables, your vital organs would collapse under the strain. The body manages this stress through an ultra-fast, highly organized communication network. This system is divided into two parts: the central neural system, consisting of the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral neural system, which reaches every other corner of the body. The central system acts as the processing site for information and control, while the peripheral system carries those regulatory instructions directly to the tissues. To see how this prevents collapse, we can follow the journey of a single command as it travels from the brain down to the muscles to execute the run. The decision to move begins in the forebrain's cerebrum, the site for complex processing. Its outer layer, the cerebral cortex, handles the voluntary intention to sprint. Below that, the hypothalamus prepares the body for stress, regulating emotional excitement and temperature. Before your legs can move, this abstract thought must be translated into a physical signal that can leave the skull and travel down the spine. To find the medium for that signal, we have to look past the macro structures of the brain and into the microscopic cellular level. This is the neuron, the structural unit of the neural system. These left-branching fibers are dendrites, which receive incoming stimuli. The signal then moves into the axon, a long fiber carrying the impulse away from the cell body. These microscopic wires provide the vital physical connection between our conscious intentions and our moving physical reality. Before it fires, a neuron is polarized. It maintains a resting electrical charge because a pump actively transports 3 sodium ions out for every 2 potassium ions it brings in. The brain's command triggers ion channels to open, causing sodium to rush inside. This electrical reversal happens in a fraction of a second. We call this wave of electrical depolarization an action potential, or simply a nerve impulse. A fatty layer called the myelin sheath insulates the axon, allowing the electrical spark to jump rapidly between gaps called the nodes of Ranvier. Microscopic electrical storms racing through our tissues drive every movement we make. When the impulse reaches the end of the axon, it hits a void called the synaptic cleft. The electrical spark cannot jump this gap alone. Instead, the impulse stimulates synaptic vesicles to move toward the membrane, fusing with it to release their contents into the void. These chemical messengers, called neurotransmitters, float across the gap to reach the next cell. They bind to specific receptors on the postsynaptic muscle membrane, opening new ion channels and generating the final signal for the muscle to contract. Every action we take relies on this seamless translation from electricity to chemistry and back again. As the runner moves, they don't have to consciously remember to keep their heart beating or their blood flowing. While the somatic neural system manages voluntary skeletal movement, the autonomic system handles the involuntary life support functions. This automation happens in the hindbrain. Specifically, the medulla contains the centers that force the respiratory and cardiovascular systems to keep pace with the body's activity. This architecture divides our conscious choices from the automated reflexes required for survival. When the run ends and the conscious stimulus stops, nerve activity begins to ramp down. The autonomic system quietly guides the lungs, heart, and blood vessels back to their resting conditions, restoring homeostasis. This synchronized dance governs everything from the sensation of fear to the mechanics of balance and the focus required to read a book. The neural system integrates our inner intentions with physical reality, ensuring every choice and reflex happens in a single synchronized moment.